The desert stretched endlessly beneath a sky of molten gold. Wind rolled over dunes, whispering through the bones of ancient creatures long turned to dust. Then, beyond the lifeless expanse, something shimmered, a breath of green, a whisper of water, an oasis. Camera pans downward, lush ferns, blooming flowers, dragonflies gliding over a crystal blue pool. Life still fought here, hidden from time. Out of the haze, Isla appeared, a young girl of perhaps 16, her hair sun-bleached and tangled, her skin bronzed by years under the merciless sun. She carried a woven pouch of roots and berries, stepping lightly over the rocks, her eyes sharp and curious. She knelt by the water, cupping her hands, drinking slowly. The surface rippled. Something moved in the shadows. A crack of a branch. A breath, deep, heavy, and near. Isla froze. Her eyes darted toward the tree line. From between two great stones, a massive gorilla stepped into the light, his fur dark silver, his shoulders wide as boulders. His chest rose and fell with quiet power. For a heartbeat, time stopped. The creature's amber eyes locked with hers, not wild, not empty, but full of something almost human. Ayla's first instinct screamed run. Her heart thundered in her chest, but her legs wouldn't obey. There was something in that gaze, not hunger, not rage, but recognition. The gorilla grunted softly, tilting his head. A low rumble, almost like a question. Isla took a trembling step backward, her foot sliding on the sand. The gorilla mirrored her, one cautious step forward. She didn't move. A small breeze lifted the hair from her face. She reached into her pouch, pulling out a ripe fruit. Slowly, never breaking eye contact, she placed it on a flat stone and stepped away. The gorilla watched her. Then, with surprising gentleness, he approached the stone and sniffed the offering. His great hand reached down, taking the fruit, and he ate, quietly, almost gratefully. Ayla's breath left her lips in wonder. The creature sat down near the edge of the pool, never looking away from her. The air between them shimmered with the soft hum of the oasis, birds, water, and the faint pulse of ancient earth. She didn't know why, but in that moment, she smiled. The gorilla blinked, his massive chest rising and falling in rhythm with her own. Two beings from different worlds, bound by the oldest magic of all, curiosity. As the sun dipped behind the dunes, painting their silhouettes in amber light, a single truth echoed in Ayla's heart. This was no ordinary beast, and this oasis was no longer hers alone. Camera pans upward, to the blood-red sunset, to the endless sky, as the girl and the gorilla stand motionless, two souls meeting at the dawn of love and legend. The sun rose again over the endless dunes, burning the horizon in fire and gold. The oasis shimmered beneath its light, still, sacred, untouched. But this time, Isla wasn't afraid. She came again, barefoot, carrying a handful of fruits, roots, and wild flowers. Her steps were careful, her eyes scanning the trees. Every sound, the wind, the birds, the rustling leaves, carried a question. Would he come again? A low grunt rolled through the trees like thunder. Her heart leaped. There, in the shade of an ancient tree, the gorilla watched her, half hidden, his amber eyes fixed on her. Isla smiled softly and placed the food where she had left it before. She didn't approach him, not yet. She sat across the pool, humming softly to herself, an old melody her mother used to sing before the tribe was lost to the sandstorms. The gorilla tilted his head, curious. He moved closer, slowly, each step cautious but calm. Then, something extraordinary happened. He began to mimic her. A low hum escaped his throat, deep and broken, but matching her tone. Isla froze. Then she laughed, a sound pure as water. The gorilla blinked, as if unsure whether he'd done something wrong, but when she laughed again, he gave a small grunt, the closest thing he could make to laughter. Their strange friendship was born in those sounds, in echoes and silence. Days turned into weeks. Isla visited daily, bringing food, showing him small things, how to crack a fruit, how to draw symbols in the dirt with a stick. The gorilla watched, learned, and even copied. When she smiled, he puffed his chest proudly. When she frowned, he lowered his eyes. Then came the night of the storm. Dark clouds rolled over the desert like beasts. Rain, heavy, wild, crashed upon the oasis. Isla struggled through the downpour, her hair plastered to her face. She had come to find him, fearing he might be hurt. Lightning split the sky, white fire over black clouds. In that moment, she saw him, standing tall on the rocks, chest heaving, roaring at something. A saber-toothed cat. It snarled, circling her. Isla stumbled back, her eyes wide. The gorilla charged, his roar echoing like thunder. He slammed into the beast, swinging with terrifying power. The cat shrieked, retreating into the darkness. Isla dropped to her knees, breathless. The gorilla turned toward her, his arms bleeding, his eyes soft. He grunted once, low, reassuring. Without thinking, she stepped forward and touched his arm. He didn't flinch. Their eyes met, a bond forged not in words, but in survival. In that silence between rain and heartbeat, she understood. This creature, this giant of the wild, was more than nature's fury. He was her protector, her mirror in another form. As thunder rolled away into the distance, Isla whispered the only word she knew that felt right. Friend. And though he didn't know the meaning, the gorilla bowed his head, as if he understood. Camera fades out, rain falling like silver threads over the oasis, two figures framed in primal friendship beneath the storm's dying light. Rain drummed softly against the stone walls of a cave hidden behind the waterfall. A faint fire crackled in the center, its orange glow dancing over wet rock and shadow. Outside, the storm roared on, but inside, there was calm. Isla sat cross-legged beside the flames, shivering slightly. Her hair clung to her face, and steam rose from her damp skin. Across from her, the gorilla sat with his back to the wall, his great frame rising and falling in slow, steady breaths. The firelight painted his fur in shades of bronze and gold. She had followed him here through the storm. He had not resisted, only turned now and then to make sure she was safe. Now, as the night deepened, they shared warmth, silence, and the rhythm of rain. Isla glanced at him, her eyes full of quiet wonder. She reached for a fruit beside her, tore it in half, and pushed one piece toward him. The gorilla hesitated, then took it gently, his huge fingers brushing her hand. A strange spark passed through her, not fear, not shock, something deeper, ancient, and wordless. He ate slowly, watching her. His amber eyes reflected the flames, almost human in their depth. "Do you understand me?" she whispered, her voice trembling between hope and disbelief. The gorilla tilted his head. Then, as if answering, he touched his chest once and pointed toward her. Ayla's lips parted. "You, me." He nodded slowly. The sound of the waterfall filled the silence, a curtain of water singing of time long before words. Isla smiled. For the first time since the storms took her tribe, she didn't feel alone. She picked up a stick and began drawing in the dirt floor, rough symbols of the sun, the trees, and the pool where they met. The gorilla watched intently, then reached forward, dragging his finger through the sand beside hers, tracing a large circle that touched both drawings. Together. Ayla's breath caught in her throat. She placed her hand on the circle, and without hesitation, he placed his enormous palm beside hers. Their sizes were so different, yet somehow, they fit. Hours passed. The storm softened to a whisper. The fire burned low, leaving embers that glowed like tiny hearts. Isla leaned against the wall, exhaustion pulling her eyes closed. The gorilla shifted slightly, moving closer until his warmth touched her shoulder. She didn't move away. Instead, she rested her head against his arm, feeling the steady heartbeat beneath the fur. The camera lingers on them, a girl and a creature from another world, breathing in the same rhythm, bound by loneliness and wonder. Outside, dawn began to break. Light filtered through the waterfall, scattering into 1,000 rainbows that danced over the cave walls. Isla stirred awake and looked up at him. For a moment, she thought she saw a smile, faint, but real, on his face. In the silent glow of morning, she whispered, "You're not just a beast, you're my heart in another form." He didn't understand the words, but as his gentle eyes met hers, something ancient and pure stirred between them, a secret bond, forbidden by time, yet more real than any language ever spoken. Camera pans outward through the falling water, to the jungle beyond, alive with light, as if the world itself were blessing their hidden love. The first light of dawn broke over the oasis, painting the sky in soft shades of rose and gold. Mist curled over the water like smoke from a sleeping fire. Birds chirped softly, unaware of the tension that hung over the clearing. Isla crouched beside the pool, her hands wrapped tightly around a single strand of silver fur she had found clutched in her palm the night before. The gorilla sat nearby, massive and still, his amber eyes watching her every movement. For the first time, a sense of fear mingled with her awe. The tribe was coming. Faint rustling came from the trees. Spears clinked, and muted voices whispered commands. Her heart skipped a beat. She knew what was coming. Her people, guided by fear and misunderstanding, would see him as a threat, a monster to be hunted. Tears burned her eyes. She stepped closer to him, placing a trembling hand on his broad chest. He leaned into her touch, his breath warm, steady, and comforting. "It's not safe," she whispered. They will hurt you." The gorilla's deep chest heaved. He seemed to understand, though his mind could not form her words. Slowly, reluctantly, he stood, looming over her like a silent guardian. Isla guided him toward the forest that bordered the oasis, pointing silently, urging him to flee. A low, mournful grunt escaped him. He stopped, turning back once, and for a heartbeat, their eyes locked, hers filled with tears, his with something almost human, sorrow, confusion, love. The tribe's voices grew louder. Spears were raised. Shadows danced across the morning mist. Isla stepped back, giving him space. Go now," she whispered. "I'll be okay, I promise." He hesitated. One massive hand touched her cheek gently, brushing away a tear. Then, with a deep, sorrowful grunt, he turned and disappeared into the misty trees, moving like a ghost of the ancient world. Isla fell to her knees, clutching the strand of fur to her chest. The wind whispered through the oasis, carrying the echo of his departure. Her tears mingled with the morning dew. She felt the emptiness of loss, but also the enduring pulse of something impossible, a love that existed outside time, outside words. The camera pans upward, revealing the forest swallowing the massive figure of the gorilla. Birds take flight, scattering through golden light. The oasis stands quiet once more, untouched, yet forever changed. Isla rises slowly, her eyes scanning the horizon. In her palm, the silver strand glows faintly in the sunlight, a token of a love that would never be forgotten. She turns back to the pool, gazing at the reflection of the rising sun, whispering one last word to the wind. Forever. Though the gorilla was gone, the bond remained, hidden in the silence of the oasis, etched into the memory of the land. Somewhere, in the ancient forests and rolling deserts, two hearts that were never meant to meet again would always remember the secret love that had defied time itself. Camera fades to wide shot of the oasis, golden sunlight reflecting off the water, mist curling like smoke, as if the world itself were holding its breath, honoring a love hidden at the dawn of time.